My name is Grace Gilbert.
My name is Cambria Wozmak.
My name is Lindsey Brunelle.
I just recently wrapped up a production at the new Niantic Bay Playhouse where I played Wednesday Addams in Niantic, Connecticut. I'm currently in one of our rehearsal theaters. This is primarily where we do music and stuff, but we have a main stage downstairs and it's super up and coming and super cool. My next professional contract is to perform on a Christmas show for the Essex Steam Train in Connecticut. I start rehearsals for that in October and I am contracted through the rest of the year.
Since graduation, I worked as technical director for the Ivoryton Playhouse in Ivoryton, Connecticut, where there's summer productions, Sound of Music, and Jersey Boys. My full-time position is now Director of Technical Theater, Makerspace Assistant at the Westover School in Middlebury, Connecticut, where I'll be acting as Technical Director, set designer, light designer, and as a theater teacher to my students.
I am a performing artist, choreographer, and instructor. In the past 2 months, I think I've worked for 5 or 6 different companies. Today is actually our first day of rehearsals for Much Ado About Nothing. In a few weeks, I'll be starting as a dance instructor at the Seacoast Repertory Theater and a ballroom dance instructor in Hampton Falls at the Crystal Ballroom Dance Studio. It's such a tight-knit community. Like, your classes aren't 30, 40 people where you're just getting lost in a sea of other people. You get more specific training. You create a real bond with both your classmates and your professors.
Really intimate. Your education is very personalized, a sense of trust academically and human to human with your professors. I mean, you put us in a group chat and we were like, oh my God, what's up? And yeah.
Yeah, to bounce off of that, I just remember this was kind of towards the end of senior year. One of the voice faculty stopped me and we were just kind of talking and he was talking about what I want to do post grad and he was like, oh my gosh, you could totally be a vocal instructor or do things like that. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then Brendan Buckley, who was my voice teacher, popped his head out. Oh, you absolutely could. And then more teachers just kept appearing in the hallway. No, Lindsey, you can do it. And I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, being overwhelmed by the encouragement of every faculty member just coming out all at once to shoot my anxiety down. And you could walk into any office of any faculty member at any time and they would do whatever they can to help you. It's real and it's really nice.
So a little side note, Plymouth was the last school that I auditioned for. Biggest selling point was walking into the theaters. I walked into Silver and I was like, oh, this is real. I think all of us showed up and we were so used to a little high school stage, didn't really have much wing space. And, you were lucky if you had a pit or like costumes you didn't have to buy yourself or something like that. But the minute that you walk onto that stage and like you see the grid, you see the fire curtain, you see the booth is like way up in the stratosphere, you see the catwalk, everything is just like, so this is what a theater looks like. It was like waking up on Christmas morning. And don't even get me started the first time performing on it. The first time I had performed on that stage was Little Women. It was all just overwhelmingly beautiful and professional and exciting. And it's such a big reason why I have such a fond memory of not just that show, but every show that I've done on that stage.
Much Ado About Nothing was the first show that I saw at PSU. Little did I know that Hanaway would become a space that I became very intimate with. While being a music theater major, I also worked as a stage manager and a technician. Hanaway was kind of my home base. I spent many, many, many hours in Hanaway.
I had this weird sense of just awe walking into the space for the first time, realizing that that was going to be my workspace, my studies for the next years. It gave me such a sense of pride knowing that I was studying to work in spaces like Hanaway. We were so fortunate. I realized going into the professional field how a lot of community and professional theaters don't have half of the facilities and or equipment that we do.
I feel like I should note my first debut on the Hanaway stage, which was as the monster under the bed in Addams Family as a first semester freshman. Thank you very much. I was on running crew one day. Checking my email, and I get an email from Matt Kaiser, who at this point I had never talked to except for maybe once when I auditioned. And it just said, "Hi, Lindsey. We need someone to dress up like a monster or a dinosaur and fit in a small space. How would you feel about doing that?" And I was like, "I'm down, let's do it." I got to hide under Pugsley's bed and jump out. And I was, in fact, in the curtain call, standing among all these upperclassmen who I was terrified of, taking a bow in my dinosaur mask. That's a really funny way to be introduced to the Hanaway stage.
It is probably my favorite in all of Silver. I love Hanaway. Hanaway is near and dear to my heart. But when I was a freshman, and I was the lighting board operator for Beauty Queen of Lebanon. That was my first ever production there, and I was on crew for it. That spring, I was cast in Spelling Bee, which was also in studio. I spent the entirety of my freshman year in there, and ironic because I have never once performed in any type of round. With my freshman year alone, I got so intrigued by it because you have to have this whole sense of spatial and like kinesthetic awareness because it's like, oh, you may be cheating out to house left, but that means house right is missing all the action. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, my junior year. And that still, Kaiser, shut up, is like one of my favorite shows that I did at Plymouth. For reference, I was Sally Brown, and apparently I'm in a perpetual state of Sally Brown. And shut up. Because it requires a smaller cast to be in studio as well, you really spend a lot of time with those people, and you really create some of the most chaotic memories and bonds, and it's some of the most prominent memories I have from Plymouth.
One of the first things that got me was I didn't really understand all of the crazy hideouts, nooks, and crannies in that theater. There's this whole under the audience system of tunnels and doors and different entrances. And whoa, this is how you get around. It's a crazy workaround. There's all these hidden doors and passages. The first time I performed in it was for Dance Project because it was such an intimate piece and it was such a strong piece that I literally got to walk right up to people and make eye contact with them and really connect with them. One of the first performances I did post-grad was in the round. So having that experience of working with a 3/4 audience was really, really beneficial.
Working on sets, you can mask quite a bit of a set piece that you're working on, but people won't be seeing certain angles in spaces like Hanaway. It really just makes you up any carpentry and painting skills that you have. It's a much more intimate experience, and you have so many more viewpoints. It needs to be so much more detailed. And that really helped Onward when it came to attention to detail and audience perspective.